Welcome, everybody. Welcome, guys. It is Saturday, and we're here to talk about Manifestation 101. I'm Dr. Divi, and I welcome you guys to being here. Again, for those of you who are joining me live, you can type in questions or put your hand up. I'm actually going to put my video feed the biggest. Right now, I think I know how to do that. Give me a sec here. Oh, there we go. I just did it. So just a reminder, I am using this replay for a podcast, so this will be kept. So if you want your video on or off, just keeping that in mind. And when we ask questions, you can either type it in, put your hand up, wave me down. I've got your video shrunk, so I can't actually see all of you. So if you want to just type in that you want to ask a question verbally, or the last couple of podcasts I've done, people have just typed in. I'm good with anything. Anyways, welcome everyone. So today we're going to be talking about manifestation. And as most of you know, I'm a family doctor by trade, and I teach mind, body, spirit medicine. That's kind of my passion. So manifestation is a fun conversation. And whether you're using today's conversation in relationship to, say, manifestation of money or relationship or greater health, actually the same conversation across the board, okay? And again, if you're newer to my webinars, podcast type stuff, it's all interactive. So feel free to type in questions, put your hand up, go, you lost me, Divi. And I'm totally cool to pause and answer those questions as we go. So a couple kind of base things I want to start with. The thing about manifestation is we're actually manifesting all day, every day. That's the thing. Everything is manifestation. From a parking spot we get to a parking spot we don't get, to having money in the account to not having money in the account. Everything all day, every day is manifestation. We're manifesting all the time. So we're going to be talking about universal laws today. So I want you to not think that anything purposeful needs to be done to manifest, because manifesting is happening all the time. But most of us don't even realize we're manifesting because we're just used to the idea that things happen to us. And one of the big differences when you get into this type of work from just the attitude that life happens to us, this attitude is that you can create or manifest your life, which is completely opposite. I can't speak for yourselves, but I grew up, like most of us, just thinking life happened to me. I had no options or choices that if Joe was going to ask me out for a date, I just had to wait for Joe to ask me out. I couldn't do anything about it. So what we're going to be talking about today is a very 180-degree opposite concept from life happens to us to we actually create our lives. And most people who come to this work come to it sometimes by accident, though again, there are no accidents, or some people come out searching. A lot of people are searchers looking for concepts of the divine, universe, energy, and they stumble across this work. A lot of the work I'm going to be teaching today is not new on the planet, though maybe how I present it, you might hear it in a different way. Some of the work that I'm going to teach today is I'm going to present a book, which some of you may know. Oops, there it is. It's called Ask and It's Given by Abraham Hicks. If you don't have this book and you're interested in today's conversation, it may be a great one for your library. It's not the only book on manifestation, and it's not what I based today's talk on, but I just want to present it for those of you who are brand new to this work. So the idea, and again, I'm starting from ground zero. So if you've done a bunch of my workshops before, you're like, yeah, Divi, I already know. Yeah, Divi, I already know that. Awesome. But today we're going to be starting from ground zero, almost like you don't know anything. And sometimes that's actually the best way to learn, because then we can unlearn a lot of the things that we have learned. So the theory in manifestation and universal law is that we are just energy. My hand is just moving energy. The water bottle is just moving energy. The microphone is just moving energy. Everything is moving energy. And the presentation for it in your life, the coalescing of it being in front of you, is by you and your energy. So a couple things I want to start with before we actually jump into the nuts and bolts. We are manifesting all day, every day, number one. Number two, there's no such thing as a bad manifestation. A lot of us go, oh, I can't believe I did that. There's no such thing as a bad manifestation. It just is. And if you can get your head wrapped around that, that will help immensely, incredibly. The conversation about manifestation, it really takes us down a path around energies, emotions, and spirituality. So if that's a newer topic to you, don't be scared. I mean, I've been involved in this work for probably about 15 or 16 years and really been immersed in it for the last 10. And when we immerse ourselves in it, then it's like, wow, I created that. Wow, I created that. Wow, I created that. That really sucks because I don't like that, but wow, is that amazing? But when we really, truly get that, we realize that within us is incredible, profound, immense energy. So you'll hear me through the talk today use words like universe, divine, spirituality. God. I don't use the word God very much. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is pick one word that works for you. It might be soul, it might be universe, it might be divinity. It doesn't matter to me which word you choose, but if you hear me use a word that you don't like, just replace it with your word. Your word might be spirit or soul. I don't want to offend anyone if I choose a word that you don't like, but really, guys, we're actually all talking the same language. So another concept in this work is that you are that energy. You are universal, divine energy. And I want you to take that in for a second. You are universal, divine energy with infinite potential. Close your eyes for a second. I just want you to breathe that in for a second. You are infinite, divine energy of infinite potential. I just want you to take those words into your body and see how that feels. I'm going to say it in a pronoun. I am infinite, divine energy of infinite potential. And just check it and see how that feels. I guarantee you, for each of you, that feels really good. Each of you, it feels amazing. Now, at other times of the day, it may not feel so good, may create a bit of resistance, but that is the truth of who you are. If you haven't already opened your eyes, go and open your eyes. But just check in, and if you want to type in, let me know how that felt for you. You don't have to, but if you feel aligned, go ahead and type in. But when we understand that this is going to I'm going to screw some of your brains up here, that there's nothing wrong or bad at all with who you are or what's going on in your life. If you can, I'm just going to say that again. There's nothing wrong or bad with what's happening in your life. And that's hard for us to hear. The other day, my son's a huge basketball player, so he plays on a very high level. And so he was playing for the full month of March, like every single day. So we got to know the parents quite well. One of the parents called me the other day. We had dinner with them a few weeks ago, and the father called me, and we had really connected with them. I told them what I'd done. They were like, "Wow, this is so cool." And then I ended up doing a mediumship session for the father of my son's friend on his mother who had transitioned. He was just like, "Oh my God, my mom's around me," blah, blah, blah. Anyways, long story short, he phoned me the other day, a couple weeks after we had dinner together, and said something like, "Hey, I think I need your help." And I said, "What's up?" He said, "My wife has just been diagnosed with cancer." And I was like, "Oh, let's guttural. Ugh." And he's so new to this conversation, which is great, right? People are waking up and becoming conscious all the time. He asked me this one question that plays relevance here. And I was sort of explaining to him the work I do in reference to cancer or illness as a whole. And I explained to him that there's nothing wrong or bad in cancer, at least in my world, and that it's just an energy that's in the body that wants to be healed. And this was all brand new to him. And he was asking kind of what his mom was saying, what his wife's guides were saying. So I was going through that. And he asked me this one question that if you get this part, it'll shift you. He said, "Yeah, Divi, but what about people that kill? What about, things that happen that are wrong in our society?" I said to him, when we understand that there is no death at all, that there is no death, then we, from a spiritual point of view, then we'll always understand that our divine doesn't think that there's anything wrong in that sense. And that's hard for us to get our heads wrapped around because we're taught the opposite. But in here, the divine that you just tapped into, it always exists forever and evermore. It always exists. So I want you to take that in for a second. And close your eyes if you wish. The divine within me will always be here. Take that in. The divine within me will always be here. The divine within me has my back. The divine within me sees my light and knows my potential. The divine within me knows there's nothing wrong with me. So just take those words in slowly. The divine within me loves me and has my back. And just check in how that feels. And again, feel free to type in if you wish. If you wish, you can open up your eyes. So remember I said at the beginning, there's an emotional, energetic, spiritual approach to manifestation, which we're going to be talking about today. But I want you to first understand, remember I said earlier, we're going to review a couple concepts, then we're going to go to some universal law, then we'll go into some kind of action steps in a few minutes. But remember, everything is energy. We are manifesting all day, every day, okay? All day, every day. But not all the manifestations do we necessarily like, but they're not good or bad. That's the first thing I want you to understand. Second thing I want you to understand is everything is energy. Everything is energy. And the conversation we're going to have today is not about how to manifest, but how to deliberately create. So I'm going to bring in some universal laws here. So there's a bunch of universal laws. I'm going to teach you 3 of them today, okay? Some of them you might already know, like I said. The first one I want you to remember is the law of attraction. That's what a lot of people just base their entire world on, is just the law of attraction. Great law, but it's not the only law. So law of attraction, which is what the book Ask and It's Given is all about. Law of attraction really simply states, y'all know it, that which is likened to itself is drawn. Super simple concept. Again, that which is likened to itself is drawn. I'll say it in different ways. Like attracts like, what you focus on expands, energy goes where attention flows. Sometimes people call it fate, coincidence, karma. I just like to say that which is likened to itself is drawn. So if I'm in a miserable mood, awesome, more misery coming my way. And if I'm in a joyful mood, awesome, more joyful stuff coming my way. Again, law of attraction is only saying one thing. That which is likened to itself is drawn. That's it. That's all it says. Let's talk about a second law. Law of deliberate creation is different. Law of deliberate, I have to read this because it's helped me to read it. Law of deliberate creation simply states, this law is about consciously choosing where you put your focus. Say it again. This law is consciously choosing where you put your focus. That which you give thought to is created. This is where you are broadcasting on purpose, okay? So one of the differences, if you think about it this way, law of attraction is just a boomerang. I throw it back and it comes back. That which is likened to itself is drawn. Law of attraction, throw a boomerang, it comes back. Deliberate creation is offering a vibration consciously and knowingly. And you are actually creating on purpose, not by default. Do you get the difference? So law of attraction, just boomerang back. Law of deliberate creation. When I vibrate consciously, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, don't worry. Then that which I vibrate, I am consciously vibrating on purpose, and I'm creating on purpose, not by default. Okay, and again, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Now, one universal law that's off, and again, please, if you have questions, put up your hand, type it in. All right, this is the law that everyone forgets, but it's probably the most important one, the next one I'm going to talk about. It's one that I don't have difficulty wrapping my head around, but once I got it, it was like, oh, that's such a relief. The law of detachment. This law is based on the truth that to acquire or receive anything in the physical realm, you must first relinquish attachment to it. I'm going to say that again. This law is based on the truth that to acquire or receive anything in the physical universe, you must first relinquish attachment to it. This is where we learn to trust the universe and source. Detachment is another way of saying allowing. When you combine holding your intention along with detaching from outcome, your desire manifests with ease. Okay? So essentially, the law of detachment is letting go or relinquishing your attachment to it. So imagine you want to say manifest a car, but you're attached to it. The law of detachment will let you manifest it. Most of you know this concept in relation to relationships. If you ever go to a relationship coach, the first thing they'll say is, so you want to be in a relationship? You say yes. Then they say why? You say, well, I don't want to spend Friday nights alone anymore. And then the relationship coach will tell you, you have to give up wanting that in order to have it. Because the wanting is what? It's a negative energy, because the wanting is fear. It's like, I don't have it. Where is it? Why don't I have it? I'm alone on Friday night. What's going on? I'm lonely. I'm sad. Do you see the difference? Versus law of detachment is, and we're going to get into this in a few minutes, I want a partner, but I'm relinquishing my attachment to it, which means I'm going to just be okay on my own, knowing that the partner is there. And you'll understand this more in a few minutes. So that's the toughest one I find when I teach about manifestation and creation with clients, because they want it so bad. I want to feel better. I want to get rid of this illness. I want to have $1 million, and they're attached to it so much. But if we can relinquish our attachment, the other way I like to say it to clients is the divine will send you it or better, or the divine will send you on a path which you don't quite understand, but then on the path, you'll heal other things. And at the end of the path is there's your partner or there's your health. But when people are attached to the outcome, that path gets longer and longer and longer. So just checking in. Does that feel okay? Just checking in before I keep going. The universal law feels okay. You guys got those? Type in. I get some nodded heads. Okay, good. Let's keep going. Okay. So a couple of things. So before we go on, I'm going to ask you to get, okay, got it. Awesome, Helen. I want you to sort of, no, the guys are saying write it down. Get a piece of paper if you don't already have one. And I want you to write down 2 things that you want to manifest and why. Okay, so I'm going to say it again. Write down, I'm going to give you a few minutes, don't worry. I want you to write down 2 things that you want to manifest and why. Okay, so for example, I want to manifest $10. Why? Because I want to go out for lunch so I can have yummy food. So give me 2 things you want to manifest and why that you haven't manifested yet. Just write, this is just an exercise for yourself. It's not for me, it's just for you. So when we go through the class, at the end, we'll look back at this, okay? So you're writing down 2 things that you want to manifest and then why you want to manifest it. You don't have to write a paragraph, but I want to manifest a home. Why? Because I love owning my own home, because it feels good, because it would be cozy, because I want to have these memories for my child. So just 2 things you want to manifest and why. Can it be general or just specific? Whichever you want, Tammy. Doesn't matter at all. Great question. The more general you stay on, the better. Yeah, so if you don't know what that means, guys, general is, so I'll give you an example. General is, I'm a 5'6" brown woman with dark hair. Specific is, I've got black hair, some brown hair, some gray hair. I've got 700 eyelashes. That's specific. So that's what Tammy's referring to. So I want a car because it'll feel so good. I want a car because I want to pick up that hot guy. See, general versus specific. So the more general, the better, just because it's easier to lend to the energy. Now, the second part of this exercise is I want you to write down 2 things, just 2, in all of the life you've been alive that manifested in your life with ease. Okay, just 2 things. Just 2 things. And it could be as simple as a parking spot you got. It could be as simple as the boy that you met on the bus. It could be as simple as you married your high school sweetheart and you knew from the minute you saw her that she was going to be the one. Just 2 things that manifested and that with ease that you actually didn't even think about. Like you just thought about your mother and boom, she called. Just 2. And guys, I want you to understand, you've got a longer list than 2. I just want you to write down 2. Cool? Awesome. I'm going to go on in just 1 second. I'll wait for you guys to be done that. And now we're going to jump into the guts of it. Okay, cool. Looks like you guys are done. All right. So again, in this book, the Ask It's Given book, but also on Law of the Abraham, if you just Google it, you'll see it. I'm going to jump into what's called the 5 steps of deliberate creation, again, based on the Abraham Hicks work. So there's 5 steps, and we're going to go through those first, then we're going to go into energy and different things in a second. So there's 5 steps. And these 5 steps, if you've heard them before, are key to rehearing. I'm going to use an analogy in a second. Step 1 of the Abraham Hicks work is you have to ask. So first thing you want to ask, I want 3 clients. I want a partner. I want to feel happier. So first you have to ask. Step 2 of the Abraham work is it's given. And that's the hardest part to understand, but I'm going to give you an analogy in a second. Step 1 is you ask, I want health. I want wealth. Step 2 is it's automatically given, but it's not given in a water bottle form. It's not given in a physical form, but it's given in an energetic form. Step 3 is you have to practice allowing. Guys, we're going to go through this. I can see the question marks energetically. We're going to go through this in detail in a second. Step 3 is allowing. Step 4 is you get very comfortable with allowing. Allowing just becomes your natural state of being. Step 5 is when you're allowing, but kind of you hit the rocks. Oh my God, oh my God, oh God. You're like, oh wait, this isn't a big deal. So step 4 and step 5 sound pretty similar, and they are. But step 3 is you allow. Step 4 is you get really comfortable and practicing allowing more often. Like, And again, we're going to talk about allowing in a second, but just more in ease. And step 5 is when you're allowing or in ease, and then shit hits the fan, you kind of go crazy for a second. You're like, wait a second, this contrast isn't a big deal. So we're going to go through those 5 steps in an example and an analogy in a second here. So the analogy I like to use, a lot of us out here on this session, on the call today, are from the West Coast. It rains a lot here, a lot. So when you look outside the window and it's about to rain, which actually it isn't right now, but it's not raining quite yet, but you kind of know it's going to rain. There's like, it's going to rain. I think it's going to rain. How do you know it's going to rain? Because you can just feel it. But you can't actually see the rain. You can't see the rain right now, but you can feel it's going to rain, not because you saw the forecast, but you can just feel it. Can you guys relate to that? Yes? Can you relate to that living on the West Coast? It's about to rain. Can you see the rain? No. I want you to think of the analogy I'm giving you like step 2. Step 2 is it's given. So whatever you want is out there in the world. It's out there in the sky. That car you want, that house you want, that person you want, it's in there in the sky. But you can't see it yet as rain. I want you to think about that. But as West Coasters, we can feel that it's going to rain, correct? We can feel it. So what if everything about manifestation is about getting into the feeling state like rain, but the feeling state of what you want? And that's what a lot of the books talk about when it comes to manifestations, getting into the feeling. That's what step 3 is all about, is about allowing. So before we go on, I want you to think or imagine that all you have to do is create an idea, or like rain, you have to create that feeling of what it is you want to rain. So I want it to rain cars. I want it to rain partners. I want it to rain $1 million. And it can. But the key is, just like the atmosphere, you have to create the feeling for it, the humidity, the clouds. You have to, and that's your job, is to create the clouds and the humidity, not in the way of out there, but in your energy body. Does that make sense as an analogy to you guys? You guys got that? Good. So I'm getting some nodding heads. Okay, good. So the reason I'm using that analogy is because most people have issues up here in their head with step 2. That step 1, you ask. I've asked for $1 million. Step 2, it's given. So it means it's given. It means it's sitting there just like rain is. It's just sitting there. And your only job is to create the clouds, the humidity, the atmosphere to rain. That's your only job. Now, how the heck do you create the atmosphere? How do you create the atmosphere for it to rain cars, rain partners, rain money? That part's actually easier than you realize. That's where we're going to go next. So I want to check in. No questions? Okay, it seems like you guys are getting this. Okay, good. So everything you want lies in vibration. I want you to look back at your things that you wrote down as the things you want, okay? And I want you to type in, if you had that thing, what would it feel like? Just type in, what would the emotion feel like? What would it feel like to have that thing that you've written down? Just type in, what would it feel like? Feels like relief. Awesome, Carmen. What else does it feel like? What does it feel like to have affirmation? Rich, satisfying. So guys, feel these words: empowerment, ease. This is the atmosphere. This is the clouds. This is what you're creating. So I got ease, release, relief, affirmation, rich, satisfying, relaxed, contented, ease, freedom. So everything you just wrote is creating the atmosphere for it to rain. Got it? Rain, cloud, whatever. But the hardest part, there's 2 hardest parts. One is first to imagine that they're actually out there, like it's actually there. And the second part is, how do I find relief, affirmation, rich, satisfying, joy, contentment, freedom more often? And this is where the emotional work of manifestation lies. So let's jump into the next. I'm sorry, dividing this up into concepts. The first concept was like kind of basic concepts, like don't worry about manifestation. There's nothing bad. We're manifesting all day. Second concept we've done so far is universal law. The third concept we've done is the 5 steps. The fourth concept we're going to do right now is about emotions, which most of you guys have heard me talk about. We're going to go there right now. All of the words you wrote in, every single word for those things you want, is your divine spirit voice energy. So the way I teach it is we have 2 voices: the mind, clickety clock, clickety clock, clickety clock, and then we have our inner being. or a spirit or a divine. Every single word you wrote was your divine, your spirit, that energy within you showing up. So these two voices are going on at all time. And an emotion is just an overlap or not overlap of those two thoughts. That's all an emotion is. And there's something called an emotional scale in the Abraham Hicks work. It starts at the bottom at depression and anxiety and goes all the way up to joy, anger, discouragement, rage. All of those are in between. Optimism, contentment. Now, an emotion is telling you one thing: the alignment or not alignment of your mind and your inner being. Your inner being, your divine, whatever you want to call it. So I want you to close your eyes for a second. Just take a few breaths. And connect with what you perceive as your divine. Take a few deep belly breaths. This is one of the biggest benefits of meditation, is you create space for your divine to show up. Keeping your eyes closed, I'm asking all of the guides to work on you right now. I'm asking them to create a greater connection with you and your divine, higher self, inner being, soul, whatever you call it. Good. Each of you take your deeper breaths, guys, are more connected in that space. All I'm going to ask you to do is focus on your breathing in and out. Really good. Now that you're connecting with the divine more, connecting with that place of higher self, of divine, of connection. How does the higher self, your divine, feel about you? Keep your eyes closed. How do they feel about you? Yeah. Can you receive the love that this part of you has for you? Can you feel the connection that this part of you has for you? Just feel that. Tap into the energy of this non-physical energy that is with you at all times. Now, some of you might feel it behind your right shoulder, your left shoulder, your stomach, your neck, your throat, your back. Some of you may not feel it physically at all. It might just be a sensation or a knowing. Each of you are connected with that part of you right now. Now, keep your eyes closed as long as you can, but for a second, open your eyes and just type in, how does that part feel about me? Just type in, and then close your eyes back again and just go back to that connection. How does this part feel about me? Pure love. Nice, Valerie. Pure love. You both are the same thing. Love. Love, love, love. Acceptance. Wholesome. I love that word, Terry. Wholesome. Can you feel that? There is an infinite love adoring me. Oh, beautiful. Loving me. Accepting me. It loves me. Exactly, Keith. This part of you loves you and adores you. Eyes closed again. This part of you knows your pure potential. This part of you knows there's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with anything, and knows that you've got this. This part of you sees you. Exactly, Carmen. It sees you. Now this part of you looks in the world and sees joy and love and freedom and everything, even those things we consider bad. Even those things, keep your eyes closed because I'm trying to get into your brain here. Even those things that we consider bad, those fights, those arguments, that illness, there is nothing of the divine for the divine on the planet that isn't divine. And I want you to take that in right now. There is nothing wrong. The divine sees it all as pure love. So take that in. Just let that settle into your body and take a few breaths. Keeping your eyes closed, I'm going to say this next sentence. The divine has everything that you quote unquote want in it right now. Everything, we talked about the rain, it's there right now. So when you're thinking, I want a car in 2 years, the divine's got that right now. The divine only thinks in now. So let that settle into your body. You are that now. That car is you now. You are that coach, healer now. You are that teacher now. Settle that into your body. Good. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes and let me know how you guys are doing. How does that feel for you? Joy, awesome. Nice, Carmen, awesome. It really is that you are that now. That is you now. And that's where a lot of people kind of not make a mistake, because there is no mistake, but they're like, you know, in 3 years I'll have X, Y, Z. The divine's got that now. The rain is there now. It's now. It's now. It feels confident. It feels yes. Now here's the thing. Let's go back to manifestation, which is the conversation of today. All of manifestation is about creating that atmosphere. We talked about that, right? And when we get into what Helen wrote, present, Carmen wrote, I can feel, I can let go and be. What all of you guys are writing, the idea of kind of these exercises I've been taking into for the last 5 minutes, have all I've been doing is creating that humidity, the clouds, all of that for it to show up. Now the thing is, how often do we go here? Got it? Like, how often are we willing to do what all you guys said? Be present, let go, continuous acceptance, feeling the love. And the more often we're willing to do that right now, the more it can show up. But remember the law of detachment? When a couple of things I want to say about manifestation. So really, guys, it's actually super simple. What we're doing right now in this exercise, I'm getting you guys into that place of allowing. Allowing is step 3. Step 1 is you've asked. Step 2 is it's given. Step 3 is you allow. So you allow the rain to show up. How do you get into allowing? Doing everything you've just done. Everything we've done so far is connecting with your divine, your inner self, your higher self. That's all you have to do. So it's getting into the energy field of pure love right now. Can you guys feel that? That's all you have to do. So now for just a few minutes, I'm going to talk about not pitfalls or things that people do wrong. I don't want to call it that, but I just want to put a flashlight on what sometimes people do, because, and I'm just going to see, so all of today's conversation has been, I've been trying to tap into your divine mind, but I'm trying to access it through your thinking mind, okay? So when we're teaching manifestation, what we're teaching is a feeling. And that's why I've had you guys close your eyes for half the session, is because it's a feeling, okay? So that feeling is your divine mind. But now I'm going to talk to your thinking mind. We're going to jump back and forth between your thinking mind and your divine mind. I'm going to keep jumping back and forth. So let's go into what people do. What people often do is they go, where's the rain? Where's the rain? Why don't I have the rain? What's wrong with the rain? Why didn't the rain come? Where's my car? Where's my car? Where's my partner? Where's my partner? And when we do that, are we anywhere near the divine? No. We're literally in, so often how I teach it when I'm teaching mind, body, spirit work is I teach it like, I'm going to use my hands, my fingers. So I teach it like neural pathways, okay? That we're channeling down neural pathways. The one I just did was, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What's wrong? What's wrong? We're in fear. Okay. Then other times we're in anger. F-U-C-K, sorry. I've asked for that card 900 times. Why isn't it here? Da, da, da. That's anger. Then other times it's like, God damn the divine, I don't believe you're there. Da, 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 da. Not trusting, right? So we all have these neural pathways. We all do. To teach a class of manifestation and not talk about that would be the biggest disservice I could do for you, because you can leave this and go, I'm happy, and then boom, you're back to square one, right? Because these kicked in. Got it? So a lot of manifestation is looking at these pathways that you go down. And the biggest one that most humans go down is not trusting and fear. The biggest ones, discouragement, blame. Oh, they did that to me. But the more we can put a flashlight on our neural pathways, the more we go, oh, look what I'm doing. Oh, look what I'm doing. Oh, look what I'm doing. See, because if we don't look at it, what will happen is they talk about the unconscious will just get louder and louder and louder. When really over here, I'm going to use my ring finger as an example, the diamond of what you want is in the feeling that I've had you guys get into. Wholesome, acceptance, joy, being seen. That's the joy. But guys, this is not the only neural pathway on the planet. We have all of these, all of them. And they're all so important, because when we're in fear, That feeling of fear is telling us one thing, that we're not in knowing and allowing. Now, what I want you to understand is that I haven't talked much about contrast and clarity, but contrast, or what you don't want, is absolutely necessary for manifestation. If you look back at the 2 things you wrote down that you wanted to manifest, let's say you wrote down a car. Chances are the reason you wrote down a car is because you either have a car that doesn't work so well or you don't have a car. That's why you wrote down a car. Got it? So when you only know what you want when you have the opposite. Got it? So when you have the opposite of living in fear, then it's like love feels so much better. When you have the opposite of sickness, health feels so much better. The whole planet Earth is all based on opposites. Having a lot, having nothing. Having abundance, having nothing. Having health, being sick. Having a lover, having no lover. Everything's opposite. But what most people do is they go, no lover, and then they go anger, fear, resentment. As opposed to just no lover is telling me, what do I want? Well, I want a lover. Well, maybe you're a person who doesn't want a lover. Fine, throw that away. Go to the other stick. What do you want? Well, I want money, lack of money. It's all opposites. So what's going to happen is you're going to go through your life, and then you're going to see couples walking up and down the street. You go, why don't they have mine? Because yours is in the rain. You just have to create the place for the rain. But not having your lover is key, because what does it create? It creates the desire. So contrast is so important, because contrast creates clarity. Without contrast, we would not have clarity. I want you to hear that again. Without contrast, we would not have clarity. So remember, I'm going to go back to the steps. Step 1 is you ask. You can only ask because typically you didn't have it. Step 2 is the universe gives it. Step 3 is you practice allowing. We've done some exercises today. We'll do some more in a second on allowing. Step 4 is you get good at allowing, more comfortable at allowing. Step 5 is when contrast occurs, you don't see your lover. You go, oh, well, my lover's not here. I'm on this narrow pathway. My lover's not here. My lover's not here. My lover's not here when I want to be on this narrow pathway where the diamond is. This narrow pathway is not wrong. It's not bad. But step 5 is when I go over here to, oh my God, where's my lover? Where's my lover? I just feel it's like, oh God, there's contrast. There's contrast. There's contrast. That's good. That's good. Step 5 is contrast occurs. And I'm going to find, and I know the contrast occurs. I'm not going to get swung off my chair, but I'm going to go back to the diamond as soon as I can. But I'm not going to go all freaked out that I'm back into that narrow pathway, back into that fear. So I just want to check in before I keep going. How does that feel? Do you have any questions before I'm going to do kind of the last couple of things I want to teach you? I'm going to teach you a couple more meditations and then go through, oh yeah, they want me to see a couple of things. So what people tend to do is they go, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here. People always, when it comes to manifestation, they think futuristically. Everything you want is right. Everything that you want is in the now. It's now. It's now. Everything you want is in here. It's in here. And to see it out there, we've got to see it in here. And that's an exercise I'm going to take you into just a second. It's in here. But to get it out there, we have to recognize that it's in here. Yeah, I like the rain analogy. It came to me when I was meditating on this one. So everything that you want is in here. But when you're not seeing it out there, it's because I guarantee you do not see it in here, or you're focused on the lack, or you're focused on time, or you're focused on something, and that lack is then not allowing it to occur. Okay, so that's just that's kind of the hiccups that we all get into. Because when we understand Abraham's work, we understand universal law. For the first little while, it's like, well, that makes sense, Divi. I'll just go down this finger. That makes a lot of sense. But until you recognize these, it's impossible to ground on that. Okay. And then another thing people do is they're always thinking very futuristically, in 5 years or in 10 years, when everything's right now. The other thing humans do a lot is we think that we have to work. Do we have to on the West Coast work to get rain? Oh my God, no. We just wake up and it rains, right? We just wake up and it rains. So working and the hard work mentality is complete opposite. I'm going to say this 3 times. Complete opposite to universal law manifestation. I'll say it again. Working hard is exact opposite of allowing. Now that's super hard for our minds to get wrapped around. Say it again. Working hard is exact opposite to allowing. Now that does not mean you don't have to work. Like guys, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since about 6, meditated, went to the gym just to prep my energy to teach this class. Was that work? No, I got the guidance. The guide said, get up, go meditate for 20 minutes, I received the guidance. Now you could call that work. I have to sit here get my microphone out. That's work, but it's not work for me. It's like inspired work. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to see you guys online today. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Do you see? So there is human action step, but there's a difference between human action step and hard work. Can you guys feel the difference? So what I want you to understand is that these are pitfalls that humans fall into that causes them not to manifest with ease, because ease of manifestation is that. So Deb writes in, I want to paint my daughter a picture and can't get over the thought that she won't like it. Exactly, Deb, because you're on a neural pathway that says, I'm not good enough. Her opinion matters more than I do. Rather than from your heart doing it, you're jumping 10 steps ahead, right? So I want you to look at that neural pathway, and that's all that's tripping you up. But if you have a desire to do something, it's because your divine has given it to you, and the divine wants the expression of it on the planet. And what you're doing is you're thinking, okay, my daughter, you're giving it over to her, your daughter, rather than letting the painting come through from the divine, for the expression on the planet. Okay? But when we're jumping ahead, we're going to the neural pathway that, what is she like? Oh my God. As opposed to, if you're getting the hip to do a painting, it's because the whole exercise of thought, what's the painting like, being in your energy body, and then allowing it to form on the planet. So before I go into meditation, I want to check in. Does anyone have any questions? How do you feel? Where are you at with this? How does manifestation feel to you guys right now? Awesome. I think it's hard work. Futuristically, I think it's a protection response. Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what's happening, Tammy. That I keep saying it comes from your dad. So does mine. That's okay. Awesome. I'm glad that's clear. So yes, Tammy, it's okay. It's a protection response, but also, Tammy, you just haven't had enough, and it's okay. A lot of us don't, enough experience where it's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling really good, and all of a sudden I got a parking spot. I'm feeling really good, and all of a sudden I had a synchronistic moment. And so you just need some practice in that, more like now rather than future. And because our brains are trained past, present, future, we're not trained now. We're always thinking future. So again, I'm trying to separate your mind from the divine mind. Mind from the divine mind. Yeah, exactly. It is practice. I have deep fear of the success of that manifestation. Awesome, Carmen. Oh my God, that's so great. Okay, let's talk about this for a sec. Sorry for yelling. So fear of success of the manifestation. So fear of success of manifestation. The fear. That's just a neural pathway. It's just a neural pathway. So try this out, honey. See if this lands, Carmen. So when we have a desire, it comes from the divine. A desire comes from the divine because the divine within you, Carmen Hun, wants the manifestation of the planet for the experience of the divine. It's only your personality that's afraid. That's all it is. So you want to work with that personality that's afraid a little bit and go, yeah, we all, honey, this is just your imposter complex. If you haven't read about the imposter, look it up or send me an email. I can send you some work on the imposter. We all have an imposter, the imposter phenomena, fear of success. But that's just our mind. Your divine wants it. Your divine wants it. Keith writes, I try to remember that if I'm worried, I'm living the future and not in touch with the divine. Exactly. Because fear is always the future. Depression is usually the past. But right now is where the divine sits. But see, because we're humans, we're like past, present, future. Oh my God, oh my God. But what if all it is sitting in the now? Because remember, step 3, allowing. To allow, you have to be in the now. To allow, you have to be right here and right now. Let me check in if there's any questions before we go into meditation. Any other comments or questions before? So after this meditation, we might do a quick wrap up, but I just want to check in. You guys are all good with this? Any questions? Did I confuse you? Did it make sense? You're welcome, Carmen. Okay, awesome. Got it. Clear. Good. Awesome. Perfect, guys. Okay, so let us get into meditation focus. I'm going to put some music of meditation on. Close your eyes and get comfortable into your body. Just close your eyes, guys. Get some meditation music on here. Eyes closed and breathing normally. Just breathe deep and slow, long and relaxed. Just breathe. My favorite crystal balls are coming back on. With your eyes closed, don't think too much. Just remember something you put down in the exercise on 2 things that you wanted. Just let your mind's eye go back to that for a second. What are 2 things that I put down that I wanted? Just bring yourself back there. I also had you write down why you wanted it. So right now we're going to prepare the atmosphere for it. Those of us on the West Coast, we're going to prepare the clouds and the humidity for that rain to occur. So close your eyes, settle into your breath, and feel your breathing. In and out, low, slow flow. Connect with your divine as you slow down your breaths. Feel the connection with your inner being, the connection with your guidance, the connection with right now, just now. Good. And breathe. With each inhale and exhale, focus on the pause between the breaths. And focus on making your exhales just a little bit longer. So as a group, exhale completely and inhale for 1, 2, 3. And exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's begin to add the pauses. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Keep that low, slow flow of breath in and out. Just breathing and being present with your breath. Now let's go into some feeling space. What does it feel like to connect with your divine? Imagine your soul, your higher self, your inner being, your wise self, whatever word you use. What does it feel like to be in connection with this part of you? What does this part of you feel like? Put words to this feeling. Whole, connected, alive, free, easy. And just feel what this feels like. You are that now. Everything you want is inside of you right now. It is inside of the space of the divine, of your soul, of your presence, of your connection. I just want you to feel this. I want you to next feel like your heart is almost getting fuller and fuller with that place of love. The divine loves you infinitely. So think back to one of the things that you wrote down. Can you tell that the feeling of what you've written down, what you think you want, is actually this feeling that's inside your body right now? The divine has it inside of you right now. All physical manifestation is awareness and consciousness of who we are in the divine, of the divine, for the divine. And just feel that. I'm going to say a few statements, and I want you to say them back in your head to yourself, in your own head. I am whole. Say them a few times if you wish. I am love. I am infinite potential. I am that. I am love. I am divine spirit soul consciousness. I am. I am. I am. I want you to feel the fullness that's in your body right now, the wholeness, and how there's absolutely no lack. It just is. And it was within that feeling you're in right now, whatever you wrote down on your piece of paper, the feeling you want from that is in you. So now, right now, think that the vibration that you've created of I am love, I am divine, think of that circling your body about a foot away from you. And now make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So as big as the room is now. And I want you to see right now that in this feeling, there is no lack. There only is. Everything you want to manifest is in this space, which you are right now. So right now, the analogy we used at the very beginning, you are creating the clouds, the humidity, so that what you want can show up. But as soon as you perceive lack, you'll be out of this faster than I can snap my fingers. So I want you to stay here just for a few more minutes before I bring you back. There you go. Stay in the connection. There you go. Good. You're right there. Feel the wholeness. Feel the love. Right now, each of you listening right now, each of you, every single one of you, are in step 3. You are in what's called the allowing mode. Do this more often consciously on purpose today. You'll be on step 4, allowing more often. That is how you manifest. That is the how. And you'll notice I didn't say anything about the car or about the girlfriend or about the money, because it's all in you right now. So I want you to take 5 or 6 more deep breaths. And then when you're ready, gently open your eyes and bring yourself back. And I want to check in. How are you guys feeling? Where are you at with all of this? What's going on for you guys? I'm going to do a little wrap up in just a minute, but I just want to check in. I'll answer your question in a second, Helen. Let's just take those deep breaths and let me know how you're feeling. It's a nice space to be, isn't it? Any comments, questions? How do you feel after that meditation? Just make sure no one wants to put their hand up. Again, if you want to actually talk out loud, just type it in and then I'll unmute you. Calm and relaxed. Thanks, Lorraine. Thank you. I feel calm. Awesome, Monica. So happy to hear that. Calm is good. Soft and able, but a bit shaky of what could be. I know. Is that exciting, Carmen? I feel isness and possibility. Thanks, Terry. Great. Very light. Awesome, Deb. Lightness, freedom, held. Nice. Really good, guys. So I'm going to do a wrap up, and then I'm going to answer your question in a second, Helen. I just want to stay in this energy for a minute. Everything you want is now, it's in this space. So my suggestion would be go into that, and we're not going to do it in the meditation, but get back into the space I just took you into, and then read over what you want and why you want it. And there's going to be a match between the feeling I just took you into and why you want it, whatever you want it. So if you want 20 more clients, it's because that feeling is there. Got it? So take the feeling I just took you into and go back to it. Exactly, Terry. Staying here is good and returning through the day should be easy. Exactly. That's exactly it. So let's go back. So read what the one or two things you wrote. So your homework today, read one or two things that you wrote that you wanted to manifest. Go back to the feeling I just took you into and milk it with more of those feelings. The why is everything. So I'm going to take this quote from my book that I read. If you're asking yourself how, stop. Get back into the why. Within the why come the impulses. So lately I've been getting these impulses to teach these webinars. Cool, podcast, cool, I'll do it. No problem. It's easy, fun, easy for me. I've been teaching so long. So it's just an impulse. Why? Because I got into the feeling of why. Why? Because I love this. So I want you guys to practice the same. So what you wrote down you wanted, go into the why and match it with the feeling I took you to. I want you to practice that through the day. Helen asked a question. Is study and preparation, is that allowing or resistance? Helen, it depends the study and prep what it's for. If we're feeling guided to do our study and prep, then it's allowing. If we're like, I gotta take this course, oh my God, that's resistance. So it depends on what the reason or how we feel about studying and prep. Okay, before we wrap up, I just want to check in. Are there any questions or comments, or how do you guys feel about manifestation now before we wrap up? We're all good? Good, good. Sounds like you guys are good. And Terry wrote it right there. Just get into this good feeling place. You're welcome, Helen. Get back into this good feeling place. Return to it many times during the day. And the more often you do, the easier it gets. And guys, that's what healing's all about too. So, and it guys, as you guys know, I do Wednesday classes, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, practice. That's all it is, Carmen. Practice, practice, practice. That's all it is, guys. All right, I'm going to do a wrap up. Have the wonderfulest, you're welcome, wonderfulest, that's not a word. Have the most wonderful day ever. You're welcome, Debbie. Have the most amazing, amazing, amazing day. It looks like there's sun here in Vancouver, maybe. So I love you guys very, very much. I will put this on my podcast channel very shortly. We will say ciao and have the best day ever. Thanks, Tammy. Good luck, guys. Ciao. Enjoy. Love you guys so much. Have the best day.